Similar to Through a Veteran's Eye, The Flipside started almost 3 years ago on Antietam Cable Channel 30. In fact, we continue to produce the show in Antietam Cable's television studio. Art, you had a hand in this production. Tell us a little bit about how The Flipside all started.
Well, it's almost the same as you ought to introduce yourself, Ed, as like we did with Fred on Through a Veteran's Eye. The real origins of The Flipside, heck, it probably goes back much more than 3 years ago when a couple of us, Ed in particular, sat down and said, you know, we need a show, we need something, a media, an outlet, where we can tell the community the truth, when we can express opinions that people will recognize that are opinions, as opposed to some talking head or somebody just sitting around spouting off facts that oftentimes are not true.
Or writing a newspaper editorial,
Yeah.
or at that time it was mail call,
Right.
where you didn't have your name on it.
Absolutely.
And even with folks putting their name on it in feedback, I'm not really sure how truthful some of that really is. But we had actually decided the name of the show was going to be The Truth.
The truth. That's exactly right.
And it sort of evolved to The Flipside, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, because if you have a show called The Truth, it's not really necessarily opinionated.
Right.
It really has to be more factual. And sometimes just presenting facts is, number one, it's boring, and number two, if you tell the truth, nobody believes you anyway.
That's all true.
So,
and depending on the panelists.
Yeah.
depending on the panelists,
You know,
you could
it's-
even
How can you tell when he's telling
Exactly.
be better or
Lips
worse.
are not moving.
Lips are moving, yeah, exactly.
the truth? And then, you know, from that time, we moved forward several years, and Jim and Don Miller with After Five Productions, and our good friend Sam Cool, we put together a little company called Smart TV. I'm not so sure we're so smart, but it was a catchy little title. With that, we got with Dave Dahl, Jim Turner, Tony Heaton here at Antietam Cable. Paul Shirley, who's running television or running the camera for us today. And we let this thought about having a show evolve into what is now The Flipside. I've got to give credit where credit's due. The name, The Flipside, was brought to us first by my good friend Jim Miller. That's who gave us the name The Flipside.
And that was the end of the truth.
Well, that's and interestingly enough, we've hired a team of lawyers because if you listen to Fox News and some of the other national news agencies, they keep using the term. Well, you know, on the flip side of this, and so we're going to sue them one of these days.
Very good.
Not really, so that we can pay our panelists, you know, double what we pay already.
Yeah, what's 0 times 2?
Well, about the same.
Just check it.
So The Flipside, you know, was put together, quite honestly, to be a community service, to provide another outlet, another media outlet where opinions could be stated. We're still looking, and hopefully over the next few years, we'll begin to get a lot more feedback from viewers, because that's what we'd like to do.
That option is there.
Oh, absolutely.
To do that, and we look for that.
Yep.
And you know, it was an outlet also. We could talk about local issues. There's a lot of local elections, folks, you know, running for different offices. But in addition to the local, also we decided to tackle a lot of the national issues.
Sure, and statewide issues. Carl, you're a fairly recent panelist with us. You know, what's your impression of The Flipside?
I've enjoyed the time on the panel immensely. You have a very wide diversity of views, which I appreciate. Generally, being in a minority when I'm on the panel, respect and time is given to everyone's point of view. It's been very enjoyable.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fred, you've been sort of around from the beginning, quite honestly, because of the connection with Through a Veteran's Eye. But
And
what's your take?
I have been on a few times, and thank you to you. It has got me exposed on this. I've not received any death threats.
No, if you're exposing yourself, you might.
No emails or nasty, but it's been a tremendous exposure and lesson for me, because it has actually forced me to bone up on stuff.
Sure.
To become a little more acquainted with the material than I normally would out of reading mail call.
Sure.
And so it's been a great lesson for me, great opportunity. I haven't been on a lot, but it's been really a great exposure. And when I do go somewhere, people, Flipside? And the other one, you're the old guy on that veteran show. So I like to hear more about Flipside than the old guy on the veteran show.
That's exactly right.
It's been a tremendous, I think it's a good community service for sure.
And I think we found that with all of the panelists over the years, and there's been many from all different walks of life, is the fact that the folks that are panelists here, as you pointed out, you really have to take a look at these issues we're going to talk about and get some information together. So you've got to be informed. So the folks that have been on here over the years as panelists are much more well informed on local issues and national issues than perhaps some of the regular population, if you will.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, well, we got to go. Last call is next, so come on back here shortly and we'll do last call. Thank you.